It went really fast. It normally doesn't load fast. This is probably not what you want to hear when you start the live. Hi everyone. So glad you're here. Welcome, welcome. Um, let's just start. You know what? I'm gonna cut this part out. We're gonna start over again. Um, but I just want to say, I think I'm kind of showing up with like some boss energy tonight because one, I had a long day and I'm tired, and I'm just like, you know what? I haven't done a live in a little minute, but we're gonna do it tonight, okay? We're gonna do this live, and I'm gonna show up and share with you 8 of the steps that I want every single job seeker to go through when they're trying to land their dream job. And you're probably like, oh girl, 8 steps, girl, no, please, no, we're not doing 8 steps. But I just want you to know that like, all of these steps are steps that you're going to go through, but acknowledging that these are steps and being intentional as you go through the process, it's what's going to really set your job search apart from other job seekers, and it's what's going to help you do it more quickly. So what I'm doing today is I'm going over those 8 steps. Some is going to be at a high level. Some of the things I'm going to go into lessons that I've learned as a coach and a job seeker and a recruiter and an HR, all of the things. And some of them I'm going to go a little bit deeper into. So I really don't know how long this video is going to be, but I just really wanted to show up today, just like knowing like somebody's going to get a nugget, a word, some insight from this video. So that's what we're going to do. So if you're new here, welcome to my channel. My name is Mercedes. I am a career coach, and my whole thing in this life, well, I should say life outside of work, because I have a full-time job, but my whole thing is to really help Black professionals just find and be successful in their careers and have all the tools, knowledge, everything, advice, tips, strategies, whatever you want to call it, all of the things so that they can get to where they want to be. I'm so passionate and just excited to be able to do this work. So I'm glad that you're here. If you're here live, I'm looking at the screen because this is where the live people are. But if you are here live, I really encourage you to get engaged, ask questions. Tell me like, yo, Mercedes, that doesn't make no sense. Like, tell me. Or, if you're watching this later, I still want to know your questions as well. And I hope that you all get a lot out of this. Okay, so before I get into the content, I really want to encourage you to stay until the end because I'm going to share with you, right? I'm sharing with you all of these tips, but then I'm going to share with you one thing that you can do to take this information and actually implement it into your career. So wait around for that until the end. Okay, let's get started. So I probably should have labeled these in my notes. But the first step out of the 8, and I will say, and I don't know if I really clearly mentioned this at the beginning, like these are the same stages that I would take somebody through if they're career coaching with me. So these are the insights that I know absolutely work because I've worked with my clients with these. And so I want you to know that I work with my clients with these. I use these same steps in my own job search. So I know they're going to help if you do the work. Okay, so the first one is Ikigai. If you've been around a lot, you know that I talk about Ikigai as a way to really help you figure out what your career path is going to be. Now, I'm not going to go into Ikigai a lot in this video, but the general preferences or the general premise of Ikigai is that you have something that you love doing, you have something that you're good at doing, and you have something that other people will pay you for or that the world needs. And excuse me. Well, that's what happens when it's live. Y'all just see my coughs. But when you take all of those things and say, okay, what's the center? Where do all of those things lap? You have like a Venn diagram. Maybe I'll link to the other video later. But you find out at the center of that is where your sweet spot is in your career. And I don't just mean a job, like I mean your career is in this sweet spot. And I find that's true for me. I find that's helpful for most clients who don't feel like they're fulfilled or like they're happy, or maybe they're underpaid, but they're happy. Like there has to be a medium, a center for that circle to work in your career for long-term success. So definitely check out that video. But one of the things that I find, and this is a cautionary tale, is that people would just be doing too much. This is the most detrimental thing for your job search, because if you do not find your sweet spot, if you don't use some type of a methodology to find out like what is my career path, what position am I focusing on, then you are going to really slow down your job search because you won't have a targeted way, right? And I'm going to talk about tailoring and creating stories and building confidence. And if you do not have a center that you're focusing on, you cannot do that. So as a cautionary tale, I'm not naming any names. I had a coaching client a while ago. This individual could not pick out what career path they wanted. It was this and this and this. And I'm into my, third or fourth coaching session with this individual. And they're like, you know what? Like, I just can't. I'm going to switch to this. And so it's not that you cannot find sometimes what that sweet spot is. It's sometimes that there's so many different things that could really fit there and you can't make a decision. And so my advice is to you is absolutely follow the thing that lights you up, because it's going to help you long term in your career. Follow that, but also just know, like, pick something so that you can gain some traction in your job search, so that you can explore and actually gain the job that you want. And you can always transition, pivot later. You're not stuck in that career path, but for the purposes of your job search, pick a sweet spot. Okay. So that's Ikigai. Hopefully you'll check out my other video about figuring out what your ideal career path is, and that'll help you a lot. Okay. So after you go through the Ikigai stage, you'll have number 2, and that's setting a goal. So I know, right? You're like, well, I got a goal to get a job, girl, come on. But that's not what I mean. So this whole lesson is really just about the fact that many people think that their job search is a sprint. They just got to apply to 100 jobs, just go through enough interviews, and then eventually they'll just land at their dream job. And that is not the case at all. Your job search is a marathon that takes intention, especially if you're trying to make sure that you have a career, not a job. And so one of the things that people always come up to me and say, well, I'm applying to 100 jobs, Mercedes. What's wrong? And I'm like, you're applying to 100 jobs. So I want to encourage you to set a clear goal around exactly what you want in your career. After you get clear, exactly what you want, what you don't want. What's your career path? What is my eventual goal? When will I spend time on my job search? What is my intention behind switching jobs? I want you to focus on that, because if you don't, then you will be all over the place. And that's what we're not doing. Okay, we're not doing this. So number 2 is to set a goal, because if you don't, you're going to be all over the place and it's going to lengthen your job search, right? This is not only about being successful in your job search, but also getting there as quick as you can without sacrificing your dreams or your goals or anything else. Hey, DJ, welcome to the live. People later are going to see that. Hi. If anybody else is here, feel free to say hello as well. Okay. Number 3 is research. Y'all be stressing me out, okay? I want you to, whatever that career path that you land on, whatever goal that you set, I need you to do some research, right? I need you to learn about that career path, especially if you are transitioning, right? If you're going from one career that you've never really had experience into the next, you absolutely need to have some inside knowledge or gain some skills in that area, because it's going to be crucial for transitioning, right? And I don't mean that you have to have a job, an exact title, or an exact job in which you've done this, but just having a basic knowledge of the career path that you're looking into is so helpful. So for those of you who are out there and you don't know, just check out some LinkedIn Learning. Go try out some of those other career-based education websites like Coursera or Udemy, something, anything, just gain some knowledge. So if you're watching this and you're like, oh, she's calling me out, I'm not calling you out. There's many of you out there who have had calls with me that say this, right? So people will come up to me and say, yeah, I want a job at recruitment or talent acquisition or whatever. But then they don't know what an applicant tracking system is. They don't know what a candidate pipeline is. They don't know what sourcing is. And so I don't mean that you have to have all of that coming into the position. But if you can't even articulate what those things are, you don't know, how can somebody else really consider that you're the person in this job or in this career path that should be here? So just really think about it like that. You don't have to be an expert. You don't have to know everything about it, but you have to have some working knowledge to be successful. Okay. Cool. Number 4, professional branding. Right, people are like, what is professional branding, Mercedes? It's really how you position yourself as a candidate, right? It's the brand that you carry. And a lot of the times I really like people to think about the value that they add as a candidate, as their professional brand. What can you do? How do you add value? What are your skills? What are your knowledge? Why do you do it better than anybody else? Those are some of the ways that you can consider what your professional brand is. If you don't know what to do or you don't feel confident about any of those things, I want you to pull up a position that looks of interest to you, that you get excited about, that you would love to apply for, even land, right? I want you to pull that up and I want you to pull out the key pieces of the job, the key responsibilities, the key duties, the key knowledge. I think that's the word. The knowledge that you need to be in that role, the skills, those types of things. Pull those out, and I want you to start telling yourself stories about when you've done this, or when you've demonstrated this knowledge, or what you know about this. When have you done this in your career? And it doesn't have to be the exact same thing. Like, it doesn't have to be like, oh yeah, I definitely know how to code in this exact language. But if you have transferable skills that would allow you to really learn additional skills, right? If you don't have that exact experience, right? But tell me about that time, right? I know y'all hate those interview answers or questions, okay? You just deal with it. But I know, I'm sorry. It's a recruiter. Deal with it. But really, like, start to tell yourself stories about sometimes that you've done this. And when you start to do that, it will help you build a brand when you're talking to others, when you're writing your resume, when you're interviewing, because it's going to help you define why you're great, how you add value, and that's going to help you build confidence over time. So do it. You need a professional brand. Woo! The next one is resumes. I know everyone needs a resume, right? So step number 5 is to create your resume, right? And notice, like, resume is number 5 on this list. I know you're going to be upset because as soon as you start your job search, you're like, I'm just going to apply. But if you're not clear about your ikigai, about your goal, your research, your professional brand, then your resume is going to fall flat. And as I was talking about people applying to 100 positions, right? This is also the same thing. They create a general resume for any position, and because of that, they are good fits for 0 positions. I know, I'm just calling some of y'all out. Don't come to me with a general resume. No, I'm just joking. But in all honesty, like, when people come to me and they ask, how tailored should my resume be? What do I really need to do in this space to make sure that I do have a tailored resume that's going to, get me interviews, get me more attention. And the fact of the matter is that if you have the clarity, you know exactly what types of roles you're looking for, then you can continue to create resumes that are aligned to what the employer is looking for, because you understand, you have a set goal in mind, and then your bullets and your skills and everything else like that is so aligned that you get more interviews. Okay, so what I recommend is, instead of applying to 100 jobs with a general resume, apply to 5 jobs with a very tailored resume, and I guarantee you, I will bet you money that you're going to get better results every single time. So I guess that's my key takeaway. Do not create general resumes, create tailored resumes here. Okay. I lost count. I'm at step 6. Step 6. And if you're here and you have questions, again, let me know. If you're new here and you haven't subscribed and you like this video, subscribe, because I want to keep seeing you and I want you to keep seeing me. Is that a normal thing to say? Probably not, but also share. Okay, so interviewing. I think one of the things that's most helpful for people to know in preparing for an interview is that when you interview or you answer any question, it is never, ever, ever going to be about the job that you have or the jobs that you have had. It is always going to be about the job that you're interviewing for. And you might be like, Mercedes, what does that even mean? Like, of course I'm interviewing for this job. But people go into interviews and they tell stories about things that they did in their past jobs that aren't relevant to the position at hand, that the hiring manager or the recruiter or whoever is talking to them, quite frankly, probably doesn't care too much about, because it has nothing to do with the job that they're interviewing you for. So before you go into any interview, I want you to create a cheat sheet. I really highly recommend this. I want you to create a cheat sheet, and I want you to write down from the position description or any other conversations you had every single thing that you know that they're looking for in a candidate. Skill set, background, whatever, all of the things. Write it all down. And then I want you to go back to your professional branding and your resume. And I want you to pull out stories that align with that skill set that they're looking for. And those are the only types of stories that you're going to tell in your interview, okay? Because they are not looking for an overview. When they ask, even if they ask you that, they're not looking for an overview of just your whole career. They're looking for an overview of your career as it aligns and as it is relevant and important to the role that you're applying for. So always keep that in mind when you're interviewing. Think about the story and what they're looking for. Okay. 7, organize. Recognize that there is a structure and a process to your job search. So for those of you who are out there that don't have a spreadsheet, don't have a way to track what you applied for, don't remember what you applied for, I need you to set something in place that says, here's a list of the positions that I've applied for. Here's my status in these positions. Here's who I've interviewed or reached out to about this position. Here's my job search strategy that's applied that is related to the work or the progress that I've made in each of those positions that I've applied for. We're going to talk about strategy in a minute. But I want you to know that at every stage of your job search, there is a process, and it should be based on your goal, right? So if I know, I'll just go for me, right? If I'm looking for an HR job, I say, oh, okay, I've looked for one. I love this job. I'm going to go apply. And then I'm going to reach out to somebody on LinkedIn, and I'm going to do some research about the company. Sorry, I forgot. You have to tailor, right? So I'm going to follow up on my interview. Hopefully I get an interview, and then I'm going to interview so well. I'm going to prep, and then I'm going to follow up again. And hopefully maybe I'll have another interview, and then I'm going to follow up again. And I'm going to network within the company. I'm going to reach out to some people to learn more. And then at that stage, right, I have an offer, and I'm going to negotiate that offer. I'm going to do some research about an adequate salary or a competitive salary, right? So that's so many steps in one recruitment process, right? So you have to have some way to say, I'm going to follow up, I'm going to communicate, I'm going to leverage my strategy in an organized, consistent way. And you're going to have a way to capture that information. And that is what's going to help you accelerate your job search. Okay. The last one, number 8, is strategy, job search strategy. I know y'all be out here asking about strategies a lot. So there are 5 job search strategies that I believe are helpful. That's find a mentor or enlisting a mentor, networking, using LinkedIn to be sourced as a passive candidate, skill building, and research. That is 5. Now, I'm not talking about all of the strategies here because that is its own video, and I have one out there that talks about the job search strategy, so go watch that. I'm sure it's linked somewhere by the time you're watching this, or for those who are live, just check back later. It's fine. But my piece here is, like, people get so burnt out in their job search because they want to employ all of these strategies. They want a mentor. They want to make 50,000 connections this year. They want to update their LinkedIn and be on LinkedIn all day and network on LinkedIn. And they want to go take their certification. And then they also just haven't spent any time researching or learning more about their career path or the job or the best employers. And they try to do all of that. And very, very quickly, they become overwhelmed and stressed out. And then they do not succeed in their job search because they get burnt out. And because they're doing all of doing the most, they're not getting anywhere because it's not creating any I know I just said this, but they're not getting anywhere because it's not a focus and it's not enough effort in one area for them to gain any traction or see any results from that. So, what I want you to know is that for most of you out there, if you are actively job seeking and you also are actively employed, full-time employed, then you need to pick one of these. You do not need to be doing all of these at a time. And I want you to lean into your strengths. So, what I mean by that is if you don't like networking, if you're scared of it, it causes you so much stress that it makes you not even want to do a job search, okay? That may not be your strength, okay? Probably not your strength. I'm not saying if you haven't tried it, not to try it, but you could be making so much more impact or on your job search by doing skill building or by doing research or LinkedIn, whatever. And so I want to encourage you to pick one. And I also want to encourage you to rely on your natural strengths. When you take that effort in one of those areas, and I don't mean, oh, I reached out to 5 people and nobody talked back to me. Like my job search must fizzle away forever. I mean, like, reach out to 20 people, see how it goes. That's what I mean by strategy because it's not that sprint, it's that marathon. So all of these things really layer on together, which is why being organized, which is why taking a more tailored approach is more helpful. So all of these 8 steps really do lay the foundation for a successful job search. And I know that when you hear me saying this, it makes it sound so long, but I promise you that when you do these in order, when you're intentional, it's going to help your job search actually go faster. And you're probably going to be more likely to not settle for a position out of frustration or stress, or kind of not feeling like the right opportunities are out there for you. You're going to start to feel like, hey, I'm really gaining this traction, and I'm finding these great opportunities and I'm engaged with these employers and things are really looking great for me. So you're probably more likely, I shouldn't say probably, you're definitely more likely to land your actual dream job. Okay. Not just one you said before. Okay. So that is all 8. Woo, I did it in 22 minutes. Hey. So quick recap. Also, if you're here, you're liking this video, share it with a friend. I want to get in front of more Black professionals so that they can gain this knowledge, but also subscribe and tap the bell if you want to get more notifications of me being live and such. But here's our recap. Ikigai, make sure you set a goal. Ikigai, make sure you are specific on your career path and choose one area. Set a goal because your job search is a marathon, not a sprint. Make sure you do some research on your career path so that you show up as knowledgeable talent. Make sure you have a professional brand so you are confident and aligned to the position that you want. Create an awesome resume that is tailored to one job and not every job. What is this? 6. I need a nap. Interview. Make sure that you are preparing for interviews and only sharing the information that the hiring manager wants to know to hire you. 7, organize. What if I watch this later and my fingers are wrong? Okay. 7, organize your job search so that you can stay on top of it and take the right actions to follow up and employ job search strategies and know where you are in the process. Do that. 8. Oh yeah, I am right. Pick one strategy, do that strategy well, lean on your strengths, and you are going to land your dream job quickly. Okay. So if you are here, you have questions, let me know in the chat. But for those of you who are here at the beginning, I told you to stay until the end because I was going to share with you about how you can use this information to go further in your job search. And so what I'm sharing with you today is if this really resonated with you, like you felt like, you know what, these 8 steps make sense. I want to go deeper. I want to know more. I want to land my dream job with this framework. I want to help you do that, boo. Okay. Okay. Because I got a little thing for you. No, I'm just kidding. So I have right now, I am doing a 9-week group career coaching program. It is really geared towards Black women. And it's geared towards having, and you notice I talked about passion and interest and alignment and following and landing, following your passion to land your dream job, right? And so that's what I want for the amazing women that join this program. So if that sounds like you, if you want to learn how to put this 8-week, sorry, this 9-week program really, which has 8 steps into practicing your job search, then I really want you to join my new 9-week group career coaching program. It is called Better Than the Best. So I'm teaching you and this lovely group of Black women how to do this for themselves, how to land their dream job with this structure and really get to that next level. I'm not talking about any job. I'm not talking about just that, a lateral move. I'm talking about the next move up. I'm talking about people who are transitioning from careers who want something better and know that they deserve it. So if this is you, you want that bad brand, you want to position yourself as top talent, I would love for you to join me on this journey. I will link to this later so that anyone who wants to join can do so with the link in the comments. If you have any questions, just leave a comment about the program below. I will follow up with you. If you want to have a call, we can do that. But just know that this program is time sensitive for you to join. So if you know that this is for you, definitely reach out to me now. Definitely go to that link now so that you can enroll on time and become this next cohort of Black women who are just going to kill it. Okay. So I don't see any questions, so I will close. But if you have any questions, I will hang out and just make sure that there's none in the comments for right now. But I always will answer for those who are who have questions later in the regular YouTube comments instead of live. So so wherever you are, I really hope that you found this video to be helpful. I hope that you can use this information to help you get to the next level in your career. It is my only goal and wish for more Black professionals to be in that type of position in their career where they feel successful, where they have impact and they're following their passion. So I hope this is the year that you do that. If you're not in that situation right now, if I do anything to help, please let me know. So if you like this video, like it. If you like me, subscribe. I don't know, maybe you like the video, you won't like me. I don't know, whatever. And then if you know somebody else that could really benefit from this information, go ahead and share it with them so that I can continue helping other Black professionals. So I will see you all in the next live. I think I have one on Friday. Whatever. I think I have another one soon, so I'll see you then. And I really appreciate you all joining me. So bye. Oh, it's not ending. There it is.